Ladies and gentlemen, I'm reading a Reuters article, Chinese warplanes buzz line dividing Taiwan Strait before expected Pelosi visit. This is huge news. It's a geopolitical nightmare in the making. Chinese aircraft and vessels operate near a dividing line. Beijing has warned against a Pelosi visit to Taiwan. U.S. House Speaker on Asia tour of Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan. Taipei, August 2nd. 2022, U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi was expected to arrive in Taipei later on Tuesday. People briefed on the matter said, as several Chinese warplanes flew close to the median line dividing the Taiwan Strait. China has repeatedly warned against Pelosi going to Taiwan, which it claims as its own, while the United States said on Monday that it would not be intimidated by Chinese saber-rattling. In addition to the warplanes flying close to the median line of the strait, several warships have sailed near the unofficial dividing line since Monday. Chinese warships and aircraft squeezed the median line on Tuesday morning, the source said, an unusual move the person described as very provocative. Aircraft repeatedly conducted tactical moves of briefly touching the median line and circling back to the other side of the strait on Tuesday morning, while Taiwanese aircraft were on standby nearby. Okay, that's a Reuters article. And all of my segments, ladies and gentlemen, abide by YouTube policies always. I always read reputable sources, public record, reputable sources, Reuters, fantastic, statedepartment.gov. The United States' approach to Taiwan has remained constant across decades and administrations. The United States has a long-standing one-China policy, which is guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 U.S.-China joint communiques, and the 6 assurances. We oppose any unilateral changes. The United States does not formally recognize Taiwan as a country. Now, I'll get to why what Pelosi's doing makes no sense at all. In terms of strategy, if there was a strategy within the Biden administration of recognizing Taiwan as a country, then I would perhaps support Pelosi going. What is the long-term strategy? Nobody thinks that Democrats are hawkish towards our major geopolitical rival in Asia. Nobody thinks that. In fact, it's the opposite. Most people think Democrats are compromised. But anyway, hit subscribe to this channel. Be here at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. I actually had a segment on 8 a.m. before this one, but it's all over the news now. This is huge, huge news, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe. Share this segment everywhere. I have segments every day on H.A. Goodman at 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. I have a very important segment on the Nuclear Confrontation channel pertaining to this, because this is the beginning of a major nuclear confrontation, not just with the Kremlin, because mashed potato brains, our president, has taken care of that. We have a new Cold War now, and an invasion in Europe under his watch. So all the calamities and catastrophes and nightmares that they said would take place under Trump are taking place under mashed potato brains. So, it was Biden who waived Nord Stream 2. I don't know why, but that's a whole other story. He botched the Doha Agreement. Those 13 Americans should be alive today. Those over 100 Afghans should be alive today. This administration right now is completely and utterly inept and incompetent, but they have all of media propping them up. But hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. God bless Nancy Pelosi. I mean that honestly. I'm not a Democrat, and I vote Trump Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm not bound by political party, but God bless her. I don't want any other country, because even though she's a Democrat, and I disagree with her on pretty much everything, almost everything, I want her safe. She represents the country, and even if she's doing something that makes no sense, I want her safe. I want her, safe and able to do whatever the diplomatic mission is. I don't know what the point or the strategy behind all of this is all about, and I'll get to that in a second. But hit subscribe if you want to give a super thanks to this channel. Give a super thanks to this segment. It's below and near the like and the share buttons to my new Patreons. Thank you so very much. I will have a segment on this. I'll probably talk about this tonight in the live stream. So hit subscribe to this channel. Hit subscribe to the stock market crash and the nuclear confrontation channel. I have segments this morning on there, so subscribe there. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. We're going to experience a stock market crash much worse than what we've seen. It will rival 2008. We are going to flirt with the depression. Hi, depression, how are you? It's going to be an economic depression that we're flirting with. Third quarter is going to be terrible, unfortunately. Another negative quarter in GDP. Nouriel Roubini, Michael Burry, all of these people have stated that we're in economic decline. And so that's on the Stock Market Crash channel. Subscribe there. Read my article in the Federalist predicting everything we're seeing now. That is below in the pinned comment and description. But ladies and gentlemen, if we're not recognizing Taiwan and we're sending hundreds of billions of dollars in weaponry and aid to a country being invaded in Europe under mashed potato brains, under his tenure, we have already telegraphed that we cannot defend this nation, okay? Unfortunately, we cannot defend this nation if, God forbid, China invades. Okay, China knows that our economy is in the tank because their economy is suffering also. The problem is we shut down economic activity when we had an amazing economy in 2019 and early 2020. We went from record lows in unemployment, GDP up, national debt below GDP, real wages up, household median income at record highs, to 22 million people unemployed, all because of a hysterical, apoplectic, completely maniacal response to a serious issue, because highly educated, morally superior bureaucrats, Democrats, media, experts said that we needed to just shut down economic activity. This is the worst thing that could ever have happened to this country. It was one of the greatest economic sins in modern history. Perhaps, one of the great sins in terms of the economy in world history. Probably one of the greatest sins. And the lives that were upended and lost will never know the actual count from shutting down economic activity. Of course, AOC and Bernie Sanders are, stimulus checks and moratorium on rent and eviction moratorium. It's like, well, you're not helping anybody. You're creating the poverty. But that's another story. In terms of foreign policy, what is the goal? I have yet to hear the objective. If I could hear a coherent strategy, a long-term, coherent, concise foreign policy strategy where Pelosi going to Taiwan is, helps the world, or Taipei, or Taiwan, or protects these people, because I don't want them invaded. God bless the people of Taiwan. China is getting ready to invade or blockade. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. Okay? They view Taiwan just like they viewed Hong Kong, and it's part of China. That's how they view. That's how we view it in a way. Actually, in terms of diplomacy, we haven't even recognized them as a country. So I don't know, what is the point? Mashed potato brains Joe doesn't have an actual coherent, concise, easy to understand policy. What is the purpose? Aside from creating havoc and chaos and a public relations. So she goes there, and then that ratchets up tensions, and they invade sooner rather than later. So then Xi in China says, well, you know what? They've pushed the envelope. We're going to invade. See, the thing is, when Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. Okay. People weren't happy, but it is the capital of Israel. We recognize Israel, thank God. And so, to the dismay of liberal Democrats or progressives, who won a battle of the 1930s and 1940s Germans. That's a whole other story. You could see the irony and the hypocrisy there. But anyway, what is the point, though? You are visiting Taiwan for what purpose? If there's an actual strategy, a long-term it's not just a tactic, a public relations tactic, then great. I support Pelosi if she does that. But I think it's absolutely foolish if you're going to create nuclear tensions and get them to invade sooner than later. I mean, domestic policy, we're in a recession. Household median incomes are down. They were on record highs with Trump. Median incomes are down 4.4%. We're going to have a 2008 type of crash very soon. I talked about that in the Stock Market Crash channel. But what is the point? What is the long-term, coherent, concise, specific strategy towards Taiwan and China? Why is she visiting? I don't know. Maybe you could tell me below if you're a morally superior, highly educated Democrat. I don't know. Educate me. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel right now and go to the Nuclear Confrontation channel. I have a lot of segments today on that one. Give me your thoughts. Thank you so very much. If you want to give a super thanks to this channel, thank you to this segment. And be here tonight for the live stream. Thank you.